Welcome to the Strange Files, where reflection becomes emergence, taking ordinary things and spiraling them into life principles, metaphors, and new perspectives on possibility, seeing life from new angles. Have you ever looked at an ordinary object and thought, that can teach me something? Such as a whisk can become a reflection on connection. A train track can become a way of understanding progressive recurrence. Even your housework can reveal something about maintenance, rhythm, and life. This podcast is a place for spiraling life principles through ordinary things and for exploring the reflections, patterns, and perceptions that shape how we move through life. It's an exploration about noticing and about what becomes possible when we see from new angles. I often use ordinary things as metaphors because everyday life can carry more meaning than we first notice. It's less about giving answers and more about opening exploration from a different lens. It's not overthinking. It's evolving thought that can provoke new perspectives. Awareness can refine expression. So hold on to your seats. This ride could get a little weird. I'm Lisa. Welcome to the Strange Files. Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome back to the Strange Files. Today, we are stepping away from emotional office supplies, mud skippers, and ecosystems for just a moment. Although I do promise the weirdness will return shortly. Because I want to share something that has stayed with me for years. Many years ago, during a hypnotic meditation, I was shown a hill. At the top of that hill stood a small castle. Nothing grand, nothing enormous, just a small castle sitting peacefully on the top. And I remember being told something very, very clearly. It is already yours. And at the time, I didn't really understand what it actually meant because I looked at my life and thought, whose castle? I don't own a castle. But over the years, something strange actually began to happen. Every time I revisited that image, the castle had changed. New rooms appeared, flowers bloomed, turrets grew. The grounds expanded, and the castle itself was evolving. And eventually, I saw myself transformed into a red and gold phoenix flying above it. And again, I didn't fully understand that either. But now I think I do. Because I think many of us spend our lives believing that we're climbing towards something we haven't earned yet. We tell ourselves, when I heal enough, when I finally figure myself out, when I become successful, when I have the perfect career, when I have everything organized, then I'll deserve the castle. But what if that's actually backwards? What if the castle already belongs to us? What if we're not climbing to earn it? What if we are simply climbing to discover it? Because I've realized we don't build our lives in one giant moment. We build them room by room, conversation by conversation, lesson by lesson, mistake by mistake. And sometimes we'll build foundations years before we understand why. And something we experienced 10 years ago suddenly makes sense in the present. A difficult season becomes a supporting wall. A heartbreak becomes a window. A strange opportunity becomes a doorway. And little by little, without even realizing it, another room appears. And I think that many of us struggle because we believe we must hold every dream at full power all at once. We have multiple ideas, multiple passions, multiple possibilities. And we panic because we don't know how to fit them together. But maybe we don't need to. Maybe they were never meant to compete. Maybe they're simply different rooms inside the same castle. A library doesn't throw away books because they belong to different subjects. It simply gives them shelves. And perhaps our lives work in the same way. Not everything needs equal attention every single day. Not every dream needs to happen this year. Not every room needs furnishing immediately. Things grow in their own time. And perhaps the hill itself teaches us something too. When we first begin climbing, we think we must sprint. We push, we force, we exhaust ourselves. But eventually we learn something so important. We can stop, we can rest, we can sit beside the path. The castle isn't disappearing, it's still there. Because it was already ours. And perhaps that's what healing really is. Not becoming someone else, not earning worth, not proving ourselves, but slowly remembering what was always there. So if you are someone with a chaotic mind, someone with 20 dreams, someone who feels behind, someone who doesn't fit neatly into one box, maybe you don't need to abandon parts of yourself. Maybe you simply need better shelves. And perhaps, little by little, room by room, you're building something beautiful without even realizing it. As for the phoenix, I think every feather represented another experience, another lesson, another fire survived, another piece of ourselves reclaimed, and every feather added something to the castle below. So wherever you are on your own hill today, rest when you need to. Keep climbing when you are able. Trust the process and remember, perhaps it was already yours all along. Tea is optional. Weirdness is encouraged. And if you found this helpful, amusing, or somewhat resonant with your own beautiful weird self, you can head over to the Strange Souls Society page on my website, lisaellenholistictherapies.co.uk. It's the home of the inner dimension, where you'll find all of my socials, reflections, projects, and the growing community for curious minds, creative souls, and beautifully unconventional souls. Until next time, beautiful soul.